it's going to feel like magic, right? So ChatGPT, the first time you use it, is going to feel like absolutely magic. All right, we should have sound. It's going to save you tons of time, and it doesn't matter what the thing is. Whether you're writing copy for your brochure, you're looking for ideas for social media. At the moment, it's like terrible at things like strategy. It just isn't capable of sort of like thinking outside of the box. You might say, for an audience of parents with children, give me 10 blog post ideas for things to do in Clare Valley. So I've been using ChatGPT for like 15 months or maybe 18 months, and now I have a paid subscription and I use it every single day, so it's really useful. But in that time I've learned a whole bunch of stuff that I can probably share with you about how to do things I guess a smarter way to get more out of it. I was only talking to a business owner yesterday. It was a discovery for her, just I think in the last 24 hours, and she started using it. And like everybody experiences when you just start using it, feels like it's absolutely magic, like you're talking to a human being. And then the more that you use it, the more you realize it's actually a pretty dumb responder. But in saying that, this is a Allen key because I was just stuffing around trying to get there. It's always a way. It's in some obvious spot, right? There is a way that you can improve the quality of the content that you're going to get back from it. So you're not just getting generic content back from it. So without boring you too much, the way that ChatGPT works, or any large language model like that, is it's predictive. So it's got a massive corpus of information, basically the internet. The really interesting thing about it is you can even write stuff like, give me a poem about a kid that's named Tim. He grows up in Victoria, he travels, like halfway across the country to live somewhere else, and in that time he blah, 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 and it's going to pump out what will be a pretty good poem for that. So that's why it feels like it's sort of clever, and it has some sort of general intelligence, but it's not. It's pretty dumb, and you really have to prompt it to get decent results. I use it a lot to just, start to get some ideas going. Things like what marketing messages, market research, ideal customer and stuff. What are they thinking? Right now, it's only ever as good as sort of like an average person, or a slightly better than average person in the industry. So if you want a copywriter and you're not better than an average copywriter, you're probably going to get pretty good result from it in terms of copywriting. If you're an exceptional copywriter right now, it's not going to come close to the results that you can produce for clients. So that's why, like with me, in my marketing work, I use it as a starting point, but rarely will I use it as to write, a bunch of stuff. The most important thing that you can do, so before I go on, it's like if you go OpenAI, ChatGPT, it's probably just Google that, and you're going to end up in the right place. And it's a free tool, so you can just get started straight away. So to prime it, so to prepare it for whatever you're about to ask it, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. And the simplest tips from me, are just, you can copy and paste stuff from the website. So what you're going to do is, before you start anything, just say to it, type in something like, I don't want you to respond yet. What I'm going to do is feed you a bunch of information that's going to give you an idea about my brand language, and the tone of voice. Okay? Then it's going to go, yeah, no worries. Cool. Give us that information. And then you're going to maybe cut and paste some stuff from your website. You might add some dot points that say something like, our brand personality is playful, fun, we use simple language, we don't try and confuse people, etc. Put in anything that sort of like gives it an idea about who your brand is and who you're for. All right. And then once you do that, hit enter. And then it's probably going to respond with something like, okay, cool, what would you like me to do? And now you've got it primed, you're ready to ask some questions. So you might ask it, give me I want a one sentence tagline to go on the homepage of the website just under the title that says this. And it's going to give you something. So that whatever you get in response, it's probably going to get about 80% there. And like I said earlier, it's going to feel like magic, right? So ChatGPT, the first time you use it, is going to feel like absolutely magic. So when you get it back, it might have something out of, that's a little off brand, or language that you wouldn't use. just give it a prompt again and say, you know, oh, can you just tidy this up, or that sounds a little bit this, or whatever. Just literally talk to it like you're talking to a person. You know, because it's trained with all this data, and the best it can do is be average at stuff, because it's sort of like goes, well, what's the norm, what's the typical response, you know, that people have given on the internet. I'm sort of like paraphrasing that, but that's the predictive model of it. And then it sort of like outputs that specific to whatever you asked it. So at the moment it's pretty dumb. It's going to get better. But yeah, you absolutely need to be across AI and using it in your business. If you're not, you're probably using way more brain power than you need to. And if you're not an elite at things like copywriting, you know, content strategy or content planning and all that sort of stuff, it's gonna take you a long way there. So hopefully those tips